Hey Leo, happy new moon in Gemini. So excited to connect with you today. So, before I get started, if you have gotten a flash sale from me before, then this is going to be a similar format. I'm going to share a little bit about what's going on the screen. It is going to be a little bit more detailed because we're talking more about astrology, but still also generalized for all the Leos in the world, whether you're a Leo sun, Leo rising. You could even do this if you're a Leo moon. Maybe you have planets in your fifth house. I mean, whatever. There's no rules here. You're a Leo. You do your things your way, right? So you'll see in this, the chart on the left, this is very Leo energized, what's happening for you on this new moon. And then to the right, you'll see the beautiful card spread with the moon and the Leo card. And this is really to bring in this energy here to really solidify your intentions and what you're setting for this new moon phase. You'll also see the crystal quartz at the very top. This is a great stone to use for finding clarity, to really use and work with the third eye and crown chakra, which is something that's so important for this new moon, which I'm going to share. And then, of course, because it's a new moon, we're planting the seed, right? So we want to start to see things blossom and grow in the next 2 weeks once we reach that full moon. So that's why I've got these pretty little flowers down here just blooming and growing. So, Leo, let's talk a little bit about what's going on for this new moon in Gemini and what this means for you. We're also going to talk about some other things that are happening in the sky at this time. And some of it is connected to you, Leo, because you've been really going through some changes in the last year with the eclipses in your sign, and we're kind of wrapping up that phase next month. So hopefully you've been realizing why you've been going through all these things and why it's maybe been challenging, such major transformations happening for you, right? So let's start with the new moon first. So the new moon is on June 13th, 12:43 in the afternoon here in California, 3:43 on the East Coast, 8:43 in London, and then as we get further around the world, goes into the next day on the 14th. So knowing Gemini energy, we're just about to wrap up this season. And so when we have a new moon, it's the dark phase of the moon. So we're a little bit more introspective. We're a little bit more private. We're kind of game planning, hey, what's coming up for the next month or so? And being that it's in the sign of Gemini, it's very important to us that we are being communicative. We're using our voice in a productive way. We're not being catty and gossipy. We're being mindful of ourselves and others. When it's a new moon, you'll see here the moon and the sun are at the same degree at the same sign. And how interesting is it that it's at 22 degrees and 44 minutes? All multiples of 2, which Gemini represents, right? The duality, the twins. So, I mean, it's such a Gemini new moon. I can't even explain it. It's just so crazy. I can't explain it. You know what I mean. So you'll see here that the most important aspect of this day, and you'll probably hear this a lot and see it a lot online, is the new moon is squaring Neptune. Now, a square is where there's a little bit of a challenge. And so with the new moon in Gemini squaring Neptune and Pisces, these two are squaring one another because they're mutable signs. They're the last sign of a season. So Gemini is the last sign of spring, and Pisces is the last sign of winter. So there's a sense of like a finalization here, a closing of a phase of time, specifically for you too, like I said, with these eclipses. But we may feel a little foggy about it because Gemini is very mental energy. And then Neptune comes in and kind of fogs things for us. We're kind of confused. Maybe we kind of have a glimpse, maybe a shimmer of an idea of what this is, but it's not that full picture just yet. And for you, this is happening in your zone of friends, circle of influence, your accomplishments, even your goals. This could be talking about groups, charities, organizations. it's really where you've come to this, last month you were shining in work, and now it's kind of taking that a step further, right? And so are you really surrounding yourself with people who are beneficial to you? And are people maybe holding you back? Maybe it's self-induced fears that you have, with Neptune, touring your house of psychic and occultism and power and sex and greed and all the shit nobody wants to talk about. You could be kind of trying to navigate through this foggy zone of like, do people really align with me on these thoughts? And if not, they got to go, right? And you've really got to use your voice here, because Mercury is the ruling planet of Gemini, which we're going to talk a little bit about too, which is making a major aspect as well on this day. So Gemini Gemini energy is asking you to use your voice. Listen to your heart, listen to your ego, listen to your body. Listen to your emotions. If it's a private thing, maybe you're not ready to share it with people yet, write it down. Gemini, any way to communicate, whether it's using your voice or writing, singing, this is where you can really start game planning on how to show off your creative talents. If it's time to kind of focus on you a little bit more, because, your birthday's just around the corner as well. So you can be a little proactive here, right? So don't ignore the spiritual messages that are coming through right now, because Pisces, Neptune and Pisces has been giving you that in the last few years. Especially once Neptune goes retrograde, the veil's really going to be lifted, but let's not jump ahead of ourselves. But yeah, this is a very good time for you to get clear on, hey, what energy you're not going to let fuck with you anymore, basically. Okay? Enough is enough. Furthermore, we've got this new moon making what we call an inconjunction, this brown line to Pluto, which is happening in your health sector. An inconjunction is where one planetary object overrules the other. So, if we're talking health, maybe it's physical health, mental health, emotional health. It's the things that you do day to day in your life, your structure, your organization, the work that you do at your job. It's how you serve others. Is there an authority issue? Is there a power struggle happening here? Are you being too powerful? Do you need to tone it down a little bit? Do you need to work on your health? Is this an intention that you can set at this time? Hey, you know what? I've kind of been like neglecting my health right now. This is something that I can work on. This is something that will physically and emotionally fulfill me. I'm ready to kind of destroy this thought or this idea that I'm not strong enough or I'm not powerful enough in my health. It's time to stop the overruling. Now we've got Venus at the doorway, just moments away from moving into your sign. So when Venus is in your sign, all eyes are on you. So that's why I think it's so important that you're setting these intentions now to not let people fuck with your energy, right? Because all eyes are going to be on you soon. And I think it's really important that, as it moves into your sign and it's connecting with the North Node in Leo, again, we're finishing up this eclipse season, which we're going to talk about much more next month. But no, with Venus moving into your sign, it's a time of acquisition. It's a time for you to start to bring things into your power. And there's some things that we're releasing right now, because opposite of the North Node is the South Node, which is conjunct Mars. And so there's been a little bit of sadness in the world, right? Because the South Node is past life, it's karmic ties. It's releasing things that no longer serve us. It's very, very deeply embedded in us. And with Mars there, Mars is very much about initiation, action, willpower. It's very fiery like you, Leo. And it's in your opposite sign of Aquarius. So it's almost like you're breaking free of restriction, especially when we're talking about relationships. So that's going to be a theme that's going to start coming up for you in the next month as well. What are some unhealthy habits? Remember, we're talking about health here too for you. What are some unhealthy habits that need to go, that are manifesting? This new moon is very much about the people you're surrounded with. And are you engaging in healthy habits? Whether it's emotional, whether it's physical. It's already happening, right? But on this new moon, if you're really ready to set this intention, if you're really ready to stand up, be bold, say no more, this is the time. Because with Venus just about to move into your own sign, it's at a critical degree, 29 degrees in Cancer. Cancer is the beginning sign of the summer. Many people will be quick to say that Cancers are over-emotional, but they're actually very strong in their own right. They're known as the crab, right? So anytime a planet is at the last degree of a cardinal sign, it's a sense of wrapping something up here. And for you, with Venus in here and also Mercury just entering, this is your house of spirituality, higher self, dreams. So listen to your subconscious. Don't ignore this. The final thing would be Mercury here. Just moved into Cancer. And on this day at 2 degrees, also making a square to Chiron at 2 degrees in Aries. This is a great time to learn how to heal, to use your mind. Take your mind to new levels. Don't stunt your growth, Leo. That is what a challenge will do. It will challenge you and make you think, listen to that inner saboteur, right? Like, oh, I can't do this. I'm not strong enough. I'm not smart enough. Your healing will be done through very thoughtful and knowledgeable ways, reading books, taking classes, maybe going to a meditation class, a yoga studio, maybe a class at your local college. I mean, something, that we could be talking about philosophy, a belief system, connecting with a mentor, somebody who inspires you right now, somebody who you're willing to let in, be a little bit vulnerable here, right? Go see somebody who practices Reiki, open up a little bit. You don't always have to be this bold, fierce warrior. Sometimes it's bold to be vulnerable, right? And I think you've learned that lesson in the last year with these eclipses. So I think for you, Leo, this new moon is very much about your circle of influence, healthy habits, whether it's physical, emotional, mental, activities, things of that sort. And to really trust and listen to your intuition, your subconscious. Or put your trust in somebody who you can rely on, that is a spiritual advisor. All right, Leo. So that is your forecast for the new moon. And I hope you have a beautiful day, and I will see you soon. Bye.